Nancy goes back home to her hometown, and he makes his move on the new girl. And well, he doesn't, but he starts talking to her a little bit here and there, you know. And one day he catches her at the copy machine, or she catches him at the copy machine. And the clock's ticking. You can see the clock on the wall in the back going around and around and around. And she's fucking standing there talking, telling her whole fucking life story. And he's bored as shit because he don't give a fuck about her life story. He just wants some of that pussy, you know. So, but he's pretending to care, and so he asks her out for a date, and then they go out to the date, and oh, it's her favorite place, and blah 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 blah. So they go back to his place, and then the next morning she's up cooking breakfast in his kitchen, and they sit around all day, whatever, and go back to bed. Next morning she's cooking breakfast again. I guess we'll say Sunday afternoon she goes home, and lots of things can happen, but they decide to go on a camping trip. And so they go on a camping trip, and it's like pouring down rain, and they're in a tent, and the water's coming in, and it's just a nasty mess. She says, you know, why don't you go down there and eat me? And he's like, yeah, I wouldn't do that unless you was gonna marry me or something. And she's like, what? He said, I wouldn't do that unless you was gonna marry me, or some shit like that. And then she says, well, okay. And all of a sudden he's engaged, and he didn't even want to be engaged. And he's like, I was kidding. No, you wasn't. You were serious. I thought you were serious. And, you know, so he ends up engaged, and they have this fucking big engagement party, and everybody in the fucking office knows, and giving them presents and shit. And it turns into this big fucking deal. And so she's getting him appointments to go to the Catholic priest to be like ordained or whatever the fuck. And then of course he's got to go counsel with the fucking Baptist priest, and the Baptist priest and the Catholic priest, one of them decides that they need to have a common ground counseling. So they all get together, and when they all get together, they decide that this motherfucking Bob, real counseling, to a psychiatrist. And the fucking psychiatrist is amazed when he hears all these fucking stories. So the psychiatrist tells Bob that there's nothing wrong with him. He's just a fucking typical American fornicator.